Hi everyone, my name is Christy and welcome to my Trying a New Makeup Product Everyday series. I'm so excited to be trying out this new Wet n Wild product today. This is the Bare Focus Tinted Hydrator. Tinted Skin Veil with hyaluronic acid, squalane, oil-free, sheer to medium coverage, which I'm excited to see. It's cruelty-free, vegan, and I picked this up in the shade Porcelain, which it looks darker in person than it looks online. This is the lightest shade that it comes in, and it looks like a really good match for my skin right now, but this does not have a great extensive shade range. I did buy this from Target as part of my recent new makeup I found at Target haul, which is up here on YouTube if you haven't seen it yet. And at Target it only cost like $5.30 or so. So great price point. And my skin right now is so combination. My skin on my chin is super dry. I have a lot of texture going on right now, like the pores are very textured. My forehead and my nose are more greasy, and my cheek is just kind of normal. So I'm really getting to try this out on all of the different skin types. And when it comes to tinted hydrator or like a tinted moisturizer, I'm never really sure what kind of application method is going to work best. So I'm going to try out a couple. Usually I end up just applying with my fingers because I like to get as much coverage as possible, and that tends to give me the most coverage. But then I also like to use a dampened beauty sponge or my go-to foundation brush from Amazon. But I guess first things first, I am just going to put a little onto my finger. It's a little bit of a thinner texture than I was expecting. And I'm just going to go ahead and apply it to half of my face, blending it out with my finger. And let's see how that goes. Yeah, you can see the shade. Maybe it is a little lighter on my face and how it looks in the packaging. But oh wow, it is immediately clinging to the dry patches on my chin, not hydrating them, at least not yet. But other than that, like on my normal skin on my cheek, it's blending out pretty smooth. But I thought that I picked up like a decent amount, but that was barely enough to blend onto just like a quarter of my face. Like I didn't even get my full cheek. So I feel like I have to use a lot of this to even blend it out, but also like if I'm going to build it up for coverage, this small bottle might not actually be able to last me very long. I'm not finding it to be the easiest product to blend out with my finger. Like I keep getting like definitely finger marks, uneven. Yeah, and when it's very sheer, it still looks, it's looking dry on the skin. It's looking cakey. I do not like that look on my skin. I don't like that in my foundation. Wow, like I've barely applied any to certain areas, and you can just not see coverage, but you can see like a layer of like dry texture, that dry cakey texture. So maybe to smooth it out, I'm going to pick up my dampened sponge and just kind of go over the finger marks. So like my chin, it's emphasizing dryness, really clinging to dry texture and like even creating dry texture. On my forehead, where my skin was not dry, it was actually kind of oily, it's making the skin look dry. Oh gosh. That is definitely not what I was expecting from a hydrator. And so now with it versus without it, the shade match is pretty good for me, but it slightly evened out the skin tone, and from a distance, it looks super natural, just like a slight evened out skin tone. But up close, like this side of my face looks so dry and textured and still somewhat uneven, and I do not like that. I guess on the other side of my face, I am going to try applying it with my go-to foundation brush, which with liquid foundations looks really good and smooth. So just to try a completely different technique, let's see how this goes. I just put quite a bit on the back of my hand. And let's see. I do think it looks a little lighter once you apply it than how it looks in the packaging. So at least the lightest shade is actually pretty light. Yeah, still really emphasizes dry skin. And considering this is a tinted hydrator, it seems like it should be good for people with dry skin, but that does not seem to be the case since it makes dry skin look drier. I do like applying it with this brush better because I feel like I can blend it out faster and I'm not getting the finger marks. But still, like, I used a lot of product and I'm barely able to get light coverage on half of my face. So I'm just not happy with the coverage, but I kind of wasn't expecting too much. But mostly I'm just not happy with the texture. It does not look hydrating. It is not hydrating to dry skin. The finish on this is actually pretty matte, but also like dry, kind of powdery, cakey, textured finish as well. Like I barely have any coverage, yet the amount of texture and cakiness that this is giving the skin, I should be having like full coverage. I was just expecting much more of a natural texture. I feel like I need to build up a little bit more. So let's see if I can build up some coverage over the redness in my cheek. What do we think about that coverage versus, I guess I would say I'm at about a medium coverage now. But it just does not look natural on the skin. You can very obviously tell that I'm wearing makeup. It looks heavy on the skin, even though it's not giving heavy coverage. But just to finish up what's left on the back of my hand, I'm going to pick it up on my dampened beauty sponge and try the technique of, oh gosh, it's like doing nothing over the redness on my cheek on this side. It really doesn't blend out very well with the sponge. Yeah, I didn't get any more coverage. Waste of product to blend it out with the sponge, but I guess blending it out with your fingers, which does take a while, it's gonna give finger marks, and then going over on top of the sponge can work, but I definitely prefer using the brush. And it's just really emphasizing texture. And that is not something I look for in my makeup products. So I am bummed about this. It's not the worst foundation I've ever used, but I don't think it's good enough for me to repurchase. I might try using it a little bit more, maybe not so much for going out in person, but just for a way to even out my skin tone when I'm at home, working with like video calls. I mean, it looks decent on camera. I am happy that the shade match is pretty on point for me right now, but just not one that makes me feel very comfortable in how it looks on my skin. And I feel like I really did get to test this out on all the different skin types, but it works different for everybody. So if you have tried this out, let me know in the comments down below how it works for you. And thank you so much for watching my video today. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel so you can see the makeup that I try every day. And I will see you tomorrow in my next video.